You're listening to The Ununited State of the World with Francis, Jay, and Monique, only on LA Talk Radio.
How's it going, Los Angeles? This is The Ununited State of the World. I'm Monique LeRae Stinson. I'm with my beautiful co-hosts, Francis Viggers and Jay Heckendorn-Talinda. And thank you so much for allowing us in your homes, on your phones, this happy Labor Day weekend. So I'm coming to you live, as well as the gentlemen here. We're from all over the world and the U.S. And if you aren't familiar with our show, I would like the gentlemen to reintroduce themselves so people can know who you are and know why they should trust you with this dialogue. So let's start with Francis. I think he's broadcasting live from Thailand, but he's representing the UK. Hi, Francis. How's it going?
Hi, Monique. Hi, Jay. Hi. Yeah, I'm all good, thanks. Yeah, I'm over here in very warm and thundery Thailand. So we've had a massive thunderstorm a few hours ago here, lightning, thunder, torrential, tropical rain. Yeah, I'm all good, thanks. Yeah, I'm all good, thanks.
Good to see you, and I'm glad you didn't float away. And down below, our friend in Florida, Jay Heckendorn-Talinda. Jay, how's it going? Reintroduce yourself to everybody.
Well, hey, we also just had a massive thunderstorm, and so we got a little flooded out, but it's okay. No gators are on the patio, so that's always good. And well, I've been in mortgage and real estate for 35 years on a national level, and I had the pleasure of meeting Francis probably 15 years ago on a little baby deal, and we just kind of, our relationship sprouted from there. We bring each other every day. We bring different views. And so I wake up in the morning and I've got different articles coming from the UK and throughout Europe. And then I inform him of what's going on in the US. So I get kind of a head start because he'll send it to me at like 3 a.m, my time. So when I wake up, I've got fresh news. And then at the end of the day, I'll kind of feed him in on what's going on, or I'll respond back to his messages. And so it's good because it's balanced. We don't always, well, most of the time, I'd say 90% of the time we agree. But when we don't, it's okay that he's wrong sometimes. You know what I mean? I'm totally joking. Actually, Francis is right more than I am, so it's a joke.
Yeah, it's just, yeah. I think we agree on most things, Jay. Common sense, yeah, always prevails. So, yeah, I mean, I think we probably use the same eyes looking at the world. So, yeah, I think we agree on most things. Okay, right.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever disagreed on something. Yeah, at all. Yeah. It was just a joke.
Yes, let's get into it. No, we love.
What I love about Monique is we can disagree.
It's true.
But
Yeah.
you can disagree with them with love and respect and kindness.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, that's right. Yeah.
There's a balance there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of things.
Gentlemen. And so,
just to say, a lot of things in our world have changed. Things that we used to look at. My family were always Liberal voters, so they always voted Liberal. And I used to say to my grandmother, "Why are you voting Liberal?" She said, "Oh, my father always voted Liberal," and she didn't really pay attention to what the Liberal Party was doing. She just, her allegiance was to the Liberal Party because her dad always voted Liberal Party, and she didn't really understand politics, so she just voted Liberal. And I think we're seeing a lot of that today. I mean, the Labour Party have just got back in power here in the UK. Traditionally, they were always the sort of working class voters party to vote for, and they represented the union workers, the working class, as opposed to the upper class or the middle class. And the Labour Party were always a party of big spenders and higher taxation. All the millionaires used to run away from the UK, when they came into power, traditionally many, many years ago. But Labour Party completely changed. people have just voted Labour in, and they're doing the most shocking things over here in their first 2 months of power. And people are just shaking their heads. They don't know really what the hell's going on. And he's the most unpopular prime minister in history, I think, already. Probably a little bit like Biden was, really, as well. So it's just, yeah, things are changing so quickly, and people are not keeping up with the changes. They're just not paying attention. You know, they're not educating themselves, and things are changing so fast that, you know, what you thought is no more. It's morphed into something else. So yeah, that's the world we live in.
Well, I'm glad you're here. And gentlemen, please mute your mics when you're not speaking so we don't have any splashback. But Francis, I'm glad you are representing your region and global. We lean on you for that. And I know you take great pride in doing your research. So guys, whatever Francis is saying, please know he vets it, and he's a smart person. And we don't take what you say lightly. And I'm grateful to have you on the team. As far as today's topic, everybody, before we get into it, I'm Monique Stinson. You'll join me in about an hour and a half, 2 hours for the startup. We're gearing very closely to my 5-year anniversary here on LA Talk Radio. And I'm grateful to Sam and the team for hosting me and putting up with me for 5 years, all on the road. I've broadcast from, you're in Thailand right now, Francis. I've broadcast in an airport in Thailand. I've been on the tarmac in Istanbul. I've had shady Wi-Fi, and Sam has powered through, and I am very consistent. Even if something's messed up, I'm still going to show up, and I really am grateful that they also have showed up for my show. And now he's trusting me with this 50 minutes on his channel with you gentlemen for the Ununited State. And we want to just talk about something I think that is quite you know, it's a hard topic to talk about, right? But we're going to talk about abortion today, everybody. Okay. Now, just to lay a little demographic land here, I do not have children. Jay has 2 children that are male. Francis has a daughter. And so just so you understand kind of the scope of where everyone might come from, their lived experiences. And so that's the setup of what we're doing today. Before we jump in and I ask everyone to talk about things, we're talking about abortion in America, all right? Now, Francis is going to lend a global and European, Asian, and African view because he's closer to those continents and he's traveled those areas. So we're leaning on him to be kind of our extra global expert. I'm going to lead in and just talk about abortion from the U.S. Perspective for this moment. So we're talking about abortion. It's not a pleasant topic. And so we are talking, I want to speak about what you guys are thinking. It's an election year, as you all know. We are very close. It's September 1st. We have a month and 4 days from the American election of president. So we know our country is divided within green and red. We don't have a strong third party in America. Unfortunately, in other strong countries in the world, there's 3, 4, and maybe 5 parties that you can choose from. Here we have Democratic and Republican. Unfortunately, the Libertarian and the Green Party are not strong enough to be contenders. So all Americans are stuck with choosing one side. I live in California. So if a woman becomes pregnant, whether it was because she wanted to or because something happened to her, in California, she can choose to have an abortion if she cannot afford to have that child, or if she was raped, or if something was messed up, okay? So what say you? Let's start with Francis. Francis, you have a daughter. You're in the UK. What are your views on abortion overall?
Yeah, I mean, abortion overall, it's never really been a huge election topic here in the UK. Not how, certainly being from the UK, I've always perceived it as being quite a big topic when it comes to election in the US. I'm not really sure why that is. I mean, it is a massive topic, really, and very, very important. But I think people in the UK take the view that abortion is something to be taken very, very seriously and to be used in certain circumstances, which primarily would be the mother's choice. Most people in the UK, men included, I think, would take the view that it's down to the mother to decide if they want to carry the child. That's certainly my view, anyway. That's a view that I've had to take in the past as well. When my ex was pregnant and she didn't want another child, we already had 3. And she didn't want another child, and she fell pregnant very unexpectedly, and actually went through this process. So yeah, it's something that I do. I've had experience of it. Put it that way. So, yeah.
Thank you for being transparent and honest and open and sharing that. And so yes, it's something quite private. I would venture to guess that you and
Yeah,
your
sure. Yeah.
it's a private thing.
But
I feel like it's a private matter between the woman, her family, her lover or husband, the doctor, and her God. And so I think you're right. In America, we use this as something to be divided about and talk about, but really, we're a lot of people say they're pro-life, but when children need food in school and education after the person's pregnant, it seems like the follow-up isn't as strong. There's a strong view on being pregnant and not aborting a child, but the follow-up of really nurturing a child and providing our government is kind of interesting. But I'm going to pause here and let Mr. Heckendorn Talinda speak his view. What say you on abortion, Jay?
Well, I agree with Francis. I choose to believe that an abortion, regardless of the circumstance that led up to the pregnancy, that's a really tough decision for any woman, and I don't think they carry that lightly. And there are people in the United States that will get pregnant because they get child credits and all this stuff. It actually is kind of a revenue stream for some. That's a different story. But when you have somebody, a woman, and it's going to put her life in jeopardy, or maybe she was molested by her father or gang raped or something like that. There are circumstances. And now my stance on it is it would take a great deal of strength and love to continue to birth and raise the child. And instead of looking at it as a reminder of the tragedy, let's assume it was a rape or something really horrific. That would take a great deal of strength from the mother. And I would hope that the mother would have it in her heart to say, hey, this child had nothing to do with that bad experience, but still deserves a chance at its own life. If I've got the means, and if I don't have the means, there are plenty of parents out there ready to adopt. And so maybe you don't want to be reminded every day. Maybe you haven't healed yet, right? Those are very deep scars that happen. And if you're not there yet, please give the child up for adoption. There's so many parents out there. But if that's not the case, or if it's going to be a life-threatening situation, then I agree. It's the woman's choice. Unfortunately, I mean, it's kind of sad because many fathers are disconnected. I was